Alrighty, y'all, welcome to Ellis Mowers. We are going to hopefully finish, here in part 2, the Craftsman. As you can see, it's kind of Craftsman central in my garage right now, from the sign to all the mowers, Craftsman, the Craftsman variants, basically a Craftsman, and all these are, full-on Craftsmans. Real quickly, what I am working on is, I'm just making sure that key was turned off there, a Craftsman, obviously. It's a 42-inch cut. It's a 18.5 horse V-twin with the Intech engine on it, which means it's got the oil filter right over here. And you can see this motor is real dirty, just from use. I will be cleaning it off in this part as well. But the issue we have at hand, I left y'all all in part 1 with trans linkage between the shifter and the actual transaxle. The whole hub for this was cracked. So here's a new hub. It was around, I think it was around $8 after I got it shipped here. And it came very quickly. I'm just finally now getting to it. It's been almost a week. Just, a bunch of other items, just tidying them up so I can get them out the door hopefully pretty soon. So yeah, let's get started here. Between part 1 and part 2, I did put a new air filter in it. I had an air filter come. The other one was pretty clogged. I am going to put also some seafoam in the tank, I believe, because it is running a little rough. It might not even have a lot of gas. I don't even know. It's got a little bit of gas in it, enough. It's interesting because usually on these twins, the fuel tank is in the back, and this one, the fuel tank's on the front. At least in my experience, because these two Craftsmans both have tank in the back and tank in the back. Alright, so let me grab a floor jack and give myself a little bit of room here, and we will start working on this. Basically what I'm going to do is take off the floor jack, and then I'm going to remove the wheel, just taking off the E-clamp and that washer, and then pulling off the rest of the pulling off the wheel, and we'll get back to the linkage. I kind of showed y'all how to take it off, but I'll put it all on camera for you this time. Me taking it all off and whatnot. Since I've done it once, I can show you all a better way to do it, or a faster way to do it, so I'm not wasting y'all's time. So let me go ahead and get the jack it up, take the wheel off. I'll join you when I'm about to take off the linkage. Alright, so the wheel's off. I'm about to take off this linkage here. It's really not too hard. I might have made it harder on me because I tried to weld it the first time. So let's see what happens here. I'm going to get y'all in a good position so that you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Alright, so the linkage and whatnot is all up in this area. And you'll have a couple of, I think this bolt you have to take off, this bolt you have to take off. Actually, you might only have 2 bolts here you actually have to take off, believe it or not. These 2. So let's try just doing those 2 first and see what happens. I think I took off a little bit more than I needed to the last time. This one, I believe, is a 9/16, and I think that one's a 7/16. I'll confirm it whenever I get my impact out here. So let me get my impact. Man, I cannot get y'all right there. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, 7/16 on the bottom there. We'll actually take the bigger one off first. which I'm gonna need a ratchet to do because of the way that it is. So 9/16 socket. The impact was a little bit too big for me to get in there. And that's just kind of like a locking. Just kind of locks it into the frame there. As you can see, it has a little tab. It has a little tab on the little connector there. Kind of locks that handle into the frame. And so now we'll take the 7/16 off, and that should disconnect the handle from the transaxle. And it did. I might go ahead and do like I did last time and just go ahead and peel off that other 9/16 up on the top that I showed you. That's a half, I'm sorry. So that's a half that you need. And what we'll do, I thought we could do it without doing this, but we'll do this. Alright. This half has a little, like a little washer, or like a little spacer in it, because that's where your shifter goes. And this 1/2 inch is your adjustment for the gear shift. So we just took that off, and this got this little kind of splined washer on it. So that took our connecting arm off. And now we can take this little plate off, which is going to be a little difficult because I tried to weld it in there and I probably froze it off. Or not froze it on there, but made it more difficult to get off. What I might do, I don't know. Man, I hammered that thing in there good. Oh boy. What I'm going to do is, let's see what I got over here. What I'm going to do, you should, if you have not done what I have done to it, then you shouldn't have any issue. But what I'm going to do is come over here and hammer the other side of the trans linkage off there, the little rod, and then I will, that'll allow me to get this off better and easier. Could also potentially, but I don't know if I want to do that. Take that bolt off there, and that will get this whole plate out of the way. Then I can just hammer it out. Either way, I got to take that bolt off. So I'll take this bolt off as well. That's a 7/16, or is it a 3/8? 3/8. So I'll do that and hit this out, and then I'll rejoin you when we put it back together. Man, this thing saw some serious stress at one time. Look at this. It is actually, it cracked all the way through. It is done. I hope that there's no issues with like the brakes or whatever. Sometimes you have the brakes on and brakes are malfunctioning or whatever, and you have difficulty like shifting the gears is I wonder if somebody just jammed this thing one time and just broke it. So now the issue is I got to get this thing out. I'm going to try and take pliers and stuff to it off camera. One other tip, whenever we put this back on, make sure you put this bolt right here, thread it back into your linkage before you put it back onto the mower, because as you can see, it's kind of locked in. So just a tip to do that. I'll show you how to do that after I get this off. So obviously this is in much worse shape than when I originally put it back on. Again, I didn't have anything to lose whenever I tried to weld it on. It's in actually 3 pieces now. How about that? So this is as good as trash, which is where it's going. Trash is full. It didn't make a dramatic sound effect. Anyways, new part. Ta-da. Right here. I can put this plastic washer on it. I think that's the way it's supposed to go. Obviously, this plastic washer has seen better days. However, remember how it went. We're going to put it on like, just take a look at the way that your grooves are here inside. Look at where your transaxle is. Your grooves are going to go the way your transaxle is. It's going to pop in like that. Pop in like that. And I'm going to go ahead and put this bolt back in that I told you needed to put back in first. And then we're going to put this thing back together. Like I said, hopefully this will fix our issue, and hopefully the transaxle is not locked up to the point where it's shifting so hard it's breaking this. So here we go. It should slide on rather easily once I get it in the groove. There we go. Perfect. Just gotta get it on back on the other side now. Kind of a delicate task, so to speak, because on one hand you don't want it to pop out the other side. On the other hand, you want it to get in there pretty firmly. There we go. A little play in it, which I don't really like. Alright, so there we go. That's in there with the bolt. So now we're going to do the reverse process of what we just did. You have your kind of little fitting where the this goes. You're going to pop in your plate there. We're just going to do everything in reverse order. We're going to put this. It is a 7/16 inch nut. I thought it was a 3/8, but I guess I am going nuts. No, I just didn't have it in the right spot. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this while we do this. Get this tightened in a little bit, and then what I'm going to do, pop it in like so. Now we're just going to alright, so that's back on. This thing came out again. what I'm going to do next, because it's not attached to anything else, is I'm going to put this. This is a linking bolt here, so it prevents it from sliding, or prevents the shaft sliding around and all that good stuff. Now they have a mounting plate on, you can put this little link bolt back in, so that it pops back into the shaft like it's supposed to. And it's off the linkage right now. So there we go. Screw it back in. Sorry if I'm in the way. Remember 7/16 for that one as well. So we're gonna do this. I was trying to hold the shaft while I did this. I shouldn't need to anymore because this will bring it back in. Remember, not too tight. You don't want to strip it. All right. Now, put our remaining bolts back on. That's last. So this is actually I can put the 9/16 inch, the one that I told you has the has this on it that just has a little tab to hold everything in together there. We can put that back on. This is back on now. Now we'll put all this linkage stuff back on. Wrong one, y'all. Alright, the one with the spacer next. Up top here. This gets mildly difficult because your bolt is going to give you some resistance, or your arm is going to give you some resistance when you do that. What I'm also going to do is pop in this last bolt. A little bit of a balancing act because of the spring action that's on these. Alright, here we go. Just kind of have to get them started, and then you can get them in there. There we go. See it shifting now? I think I got it a little bit off, but let me see if I can show y'all. I'm going to move this arm here. I think I got an adjustment off on it a little bit. That's one. So let me adjust it back some. Your adjustment arm is right here. So I want to hear it go into reverse, which what I might have to do is start it and see where I'm at on the gears. I don't know if I want to adjust it so much and try and break this, or potentially break this other arm. Back it up right here and see what happens. So it's adjusted a little bit far out, but it is getting all the gears, which is good. I'm going to have to do some tapping screws or something on this to keep it from going anywhere. So it is moving. What I am going to do is throw some PB Blaster over here on the put the clutch down here, excuse me. Probably put some PB Blaster on the linkage there. So that's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think that's reverse. It's kind of like a it's kind of like a vague, you know, kind of like a vague manual transmission, if you know what I mean. Might just have to tighten up those because this cover's a little loose. But anyways, we got all the gears shifting now. That's a good thing. I am happy that that is the case, and I'm glad that the transaxle is not locked. All right, off camera, what I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and put the wheel back on. I will also go ahead and throw a PB Blaster on the shift linkages over there, and then we will give this thing a test run. Alright, so we have good news here. It is a little, I think something's a little bent on the shifter, but that is reverse. It locks. Neutral. Oh, gotta go one up. So neutral is right here. You can see on the shift lever that it's at about 1, so I'm going to have to adjust it a little bit more. And you just do the adjustment nut right. You can reach it right through here without having to take the wheel off. So that's your adjustment nut. I'm going to have to push it back a little bit, which will be about as far back as it'll go, I guess. I don't know if they'd put the linkage and whatnot on. It'll be perfectly fine. If it's just a tad off, then that's okay. I'm not terribly worried about that. All right, y'all. Let's crank it up and take it for a drive. Oh my gosh, I forgot the choke's on here. That's why it ain't cranking. running issue a little bit. Alright, ready for reverse? Will it go? Oh yeah. That's first. Let's see. Yeah, that's neutral. Brakes aren't really holding. I had to tighten them up. Well, oh yeah. They gonna fly, y'all. You hear it smoothed out a little bit after I've got it running a little bit, so. Alright. Blades. Still spinning a little bit. It's actually running pretty good. Still turning. Yeah, I just got to tighten up the brakes a little bit and obviously fix the deck like all of them need to be fixed. Adjust the shift lever some. Because obviously you see it's in neutral and it's supposed to be going backward, or it's supposed to be in neutral and it's going backwards. Because neutral's about a gear behind. Because there's neutral for you. All right. So there we go. It is now a driving tractor, thankfully. So, next order of business is, I might get the blower out and clean it off first, and then I'll address the issues of the deck and whatnot. And I'll go ahead and adjust the transaxle some more, and that should get us fixed. I think if I adjust it all the way back, it'll get me close enough to neutral, reverse, and all that good stuff to where I don't have to worry about it. Probably put some self-tapping screws in there to hold that in place better. So hey, it is running and it is driving now the way that it's supposed to. Fix the blades on it, we'll be in good shape. So I'll probably go ahead and clean it all off, and then I will catch back up with y'all. Alright, so I got the wheel back off because I have brake issues with this. Seems like that's common with these Craftsmans. I just need to, you have to take these 2 3/8 inches off right here, and that'll get your brake mechanism off. And I'll take this pin and washer out as well in order to get them off. Get the linkage off. I gotta love when they just fall off like that. 3/8 inch with an impact punch right here. Usually these aren't too badly rusted on. Well, I'll beg to differ on that, or they'll beg to differ on that. Wow. All right. So let me get a better impact or something and get them off, and I'll catch back up with y'all in just a second. So real quickly, I just wanted to show you the brake mechanism on this. It's got these pins. A lot of times these pins will rust into the mechanism itself. As you can see that I have parts fall off of it now and parts falling through it. And that's good. You want to see the pins basically sliding freely. And so what I did is I let it soak in a bath of PB Blaster for a little bit. Then I had to take a screwdriver and a hammer and that's hammer them out there. Clean the pins off with a wire brush. Clean the inside of this off with a wire brush. And then also used brake cleaner on it. Lose my train of thought sometimes, guys. I'm sorry. So now I'll put this all back on. Remember, it goes on like this because the little brake pad, or the brake rotor, I guess you could call it, has clearance for that. I will go ahead and put the mechanism for the brake back on, which is not terribly difficult. Just make sure you get it right. I'll put you on the vise while I do this, because this is the best way to go about it. Alright, let's do it. Sometimes you wish you took pictures before you took things off. Give me just a hot second to make sure I got it right here. Okay, I do have it right. So it's spring, arm, washer, like a little coupler, and then the nut. 1/2 inch. Whew. Only problem with free slide pins is they like to slide out on you. 1/2 inch. We're just gonna screw that back in. That's what I want to see. I want to see the slide pins moving. We'll leave it right there for right now. What I'm also going to do, let me find the brake pads. Kind of good to just wipe these off too. Because your backing plate, if your backing plate's rusted on there, it's not going to slide like it needs to. So make sure your backing plate drops in there easily like that. The brake, make sure, number one, the brake pad is in good shape. This brake pad is great shape. So we're going to pop that back in as well. And now let's go over to the mower, put it back on. Alrighty, y'all, here we go. We got the brake job. Put y'all right there, so you'll be able to see everything that we're about to do. This is about the third brake job I've done on one of these, so we're I feel like I'm getting to be one of them old pros at this. Alright, so this bolt by itself on the left here, so we can go ahead and put that one in. It's a 3/8. We won't put it in all the way yet. So what we need to do, first off, actually before I do that, there goes the pad again. I had a washer. It's kind of all fine-tuning here. There's a washer that went in right here on the spring. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slide the brake lever. Everything is falling out now. Slide the brake lever onto it. This one somebody has bent a little bit, but it's still perfectly functional. As long as it moves this little arm here to engage the brakes, that's all we care about. We'll go ahead and get a 3/8 and tighten that. I'm going to do a ratchet in the socket this time. Excuse me, there's some things I like to do with an impact. Like I took these off with an impact because I know they're always difficult to get off. We'll just mount it up like that. We're not going to snip it up. And so we've gotten to this point, and now you put your arm for your spring. You just put your spring, link it to this mechanism, link it to your arm, and then you have it connected to your washer and connected to your bolt here. And then you just put this bolt back in. And then we have a washer and an E-clamp. Boom. There you go. You're finished. Once you tighten these bolts up, you're finished. The spring acts is kind of like a little spring action. You can always put a little bit of a WD-40 or something on it, just to lube it up. But that's how you put it back on, and we're going to check to see if we have brakes here in just a second. Alright, so let me show you all that the brakes work again. We are off. Let me pull the deck up as well so that there's no friction coming out on it. I'm in neutral. I know the shifter's just a little off. In neutral, being able to push it by myself, right? Put the brake on. Can't push it by myself. So, and to back that fact, I'll take y'all on a ride. And I was thinking I was going to end this video on part 2. This is going to turn out to be a 3-part series because I have discovered that I have leaky valve covers, and I also have to just freshen up and actually put a deck return spring on it as well, in addition to just the usual maintenance items, changing the oil and all that good stuff. Honestly, I ain't even checked the blades on this thing to see how they are. Wow, the blades are sharp, so I ain't even gonna touch them. That's a first. That's a couple rock chips in them, but I'll make sure that the other blade looks good too while we're at it. Yeah, blades have been recently sharpened. Which is great. All right, let's go for a little ride. Brakes. Woo. I think I'm about out of gas too. And stop. The motor smoothed out after it got running, so that's good. All right. We know that works. We know the headlights work on it too, or they did before I washed it. Oh, I don't have them hooked up. Silly me. I'll show y'all them working on part 3. Okay. Brakes are working. Transaxle's fixed as good as it's going to get. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get it perfectly aligned with the gear shifter, just from previous people working on it. And who knows, this might have not been the exact transaxle that went in this, because it was made in 2017. Battery's good, as y'all can tell. Pretty recent. So part 3, we'll replace the valve cover gaskets. We will put the return spring on the deck, and also we'll take the deck off and make sure that the grooves in the deck, they're not worn grooves in the deck. And if they are, we'll fix that. So, probably another hour or 2 worth of work on this mower. Really not too much left, thankfully. Really haven't had to work on this too terribly long either. It was just a welding job I was trying to figure out. So I'll leave part 2 here, that way it's not too lengthy, and I'll post part 3 on the next video coming up on my Wednesday-Sunday rotation. If you want to have any any idea of what I'm working on mower wise in real time, because I post these, or I film these videos in advance, you can check me out at Ellis Mowers 09, Ellis Mowers 09 on Facebook and on Instagram, or you can search Ellis Mowers in the search boxes on both of those, and you'll find me there. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.